Hello and welcome to another comedian's interview for my blog and podcast, A Rich Comic Life. My name is Richard Gill and my blog describes my experiences of watching over 1,400 comedians and counting for the last 50 years. I'm delighted to welcome my guest today. It's Mr. Daniel Harding. Yay! Hello.
Hi, Rich. Thank you for having me on. I'm looking forward to it.
Good man. Well, I'm delighted that you're my guest. I think you're a very talented comedian, and I'm so pleased you're here.
Oh, thank you. That's amazing. And coming from you, seen as you said, like 50 years now, is it?
It's extraordinary.
That's
What an
incredible.
anniversary year. My first ever gig was Les Dawson on holiday, age 7 in 1974.
Wow,
And then a year later, we saw Tommy Cooper, and I got the bug.
amazing.
And it's just been amazing since, as you say. Never mind about that. This is all about you. This interview, this comedy, all about your comedy career. And I'd like to go right back to the start, please, and ask you, why did you become a comedian in the first place?
It was something I always kind of wanted to do, but I never knew how, kind of thing.
Right.
Was always something like so I'm originally from Ireland, but I grew up in Spain, and in Spain, there's not a lot of stand-up comedy, especially when I moved there. There just isn't.
Yeah.
I have a theory on it. We can talk about it later, but so when I moved here, I've been here about 10 years, and I was about, I don't know, 33 years old at the time, and I saw a advert on Facebook for a chance to learn a bit of comedy, and at the end of it to do a charity comedy gig.
Right.
So what they did is you could do a couple of workshops with Stephen Grant. It was at the time.
Doing well, he's been on here.
Yeah, he's amazing comedian,
Yeah.
really, really good talent, great writer.
Yeah.
And so we done some workshop with him, and at the end of it, we done a charity raising gig for cancer research,
Brilliant.
which was a lot of fun. Over 200 people came to the first gig I ever done, which was,
That's incredible.
that's
And
intimidating.
daunting.
Yes, very much so, very much so. But it was a lot of fun, and I kind of got and I never looked back. Ever since then, it's been weekly gigs now.
I'm so pleased for you because, as I said at the top, you are a genuine talent.
Oh, thank you.
I've only seen you the once, but it was that winning the Norman Award at the Hastings Comedy Festival.
Yeah, the newcomer of the year.
So well deserved. So
Oh,
well.
thank
You're
you, thank
absolutely
you.
hilarious. And
Thank you.
real genuine originality on stage, and I just thought it was wonderful. It was so
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you.
So-
Thank you. That's
so-
awesome.
So what sort of year are we talking then that you did your first gig?
So it was May 2019.
Right.
So coming up to the anniversary. So, and in that first year, first half a year, because we got locked down after that.
Yeah.
I kind of went full in and done, I think, around 75 gigs.
So were
In
you
that.
doing like 5 minutes in pubs and things like that? Did you get in that way?
Yeah, mainly that in Brighton, because that's where I live.
Yeah.
There was at the time there was 3 or 4 open mic nights that were really welcoming. Everyone was really cool around it, and it was good fun. It was good fun, good, and got to know a load of people, really nice people. And then it kind of all like went crashing down with lockdowns and stuff like that. So it was kind of this massive
time.
gap. This massive gap where it was, but up until then, a lot of fun.
So I'm normally the bringer to the comedy gigs with the laugh, you see. So and that's the beauty of this blog. It doesn't just support big named comedians. It also supports comedians trying starting for the first time.
Yeah.
And one of the lovely things is to watch comedians like yourself grow and develop. So I wish you so much
Oh,
success. I really do.
yeah, looking forward to it.
what do you like to talk about on stage? Do you have any specific themes, anything like that?
So essentially what I find funny, but
Yeah,
I try and make it unique to myself. I do have like an interesting story where like I said, being Irish, growing up in Spain, it's unique to me. So I talk about that a lot. I talk about struggles with weight at the times, sometimes because I do struggle with that, and but I look at it in a funny way, like things that I don't think other people may realize at the time, and then when I explain them, I tell you why I find this funny,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that kind of works for me.
It's interesting because I was having a chat with a comedian the other month, and he said if you've got difficult, excuse me, if you've got difficult subjects to talk about, you have to try and find the funny, what you think is funny, to get it across. And I think you're very good at doing that because if you can do that well, you can then talk about whatever you want on stage. Really.
It's kind of thing that I do find quite funny if I have a, let's say, darker subject
Yeah.
that we talk about and a quote like fluffy punchline.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
I think that's really good. On the flip side, if it's like a really fluffy subject, really like innocent subject, having a really dark punchline, those are kind of like my favorite kind of jokes. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
obviously it's the hide and reveal, the unexpected is what makes us laugh, and that's what I love, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. 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 Tell me about your writing process for a routine or a show. Do you have a notebook? Do you map it all out? How do you do it?
So I struggle with writing my jokes before I've told them.
Right.
Where anytime I do that, I sound very robotic. It's like I did this, I did that, I do that, blah blah blah, and it's not my natural voice. So what I tend to do, I have the subject, I know where it's kind of going to go, and then I will get up on stage and I tell the joke, and then I usually record myself. I'll listen back to it, see where I can cut things, where if I and ahed a lot because I don't know it off by heart yet. So and then I will write that down and I'll write the stuff down and then I've got it written down in my voice,
Yeah.
in the way I talk about it, and then I'll try it again and then I'll look at it again if I need to change it again, and then that process, that's how I will write a joke, and tends to be how I write. Now I'm writing my first hour show, which I'm doing at the Brighton Fringe.
Yeah.
Um, that's how I tend to. It's almost reverse engineering jokes.
It's interesting that a lot of the comedians, certainly certainly that I know, do record a lot of the material so they can play it back. We saw Lily Phillips recently, and she walked on stage with a phone, and she put a phone down directly in front of me, sitting in the front row, and she went, "Oh, I'm gonna have a great night tonight," because she knew the laugh would be there. You see.
No, it's a great tool to have because you can. It's not easy to notice your mistakes a lot of times when you're talking about it, even if it's something small, like, oh, that I don't need that word really. Oh, what I'm hesitating there. I need a bigger gap there. So the analyzation, sometimes you can overanalyze it and overthink of it. If people laugh, that's the end of the goal.
That's it.
Really, that's the end goal. If they laughed, they laughed.
Yeah. It's fascinating. What do you think makes a good comedian?
I always like the comedians that are usually intelligent, and I think obviously timing and stagecraft. I think you can learn that, and you can be, and that just comes with. There are some people that are great off the bat. Don't get me wrong. There's some that are just born to be on stage and stuff like that. I wasn't like that. I don't think. I think it took me a little while to realize. Oh, okay. Now you're comfortable. Now you know how to do this. Now you can play around with that kind of stuff. But when it comes to being like, oh, that's very smart. I love that. That actually there's more to it than just what you're saying. That's what I find fascinating. And
Yeah.
that's what I really, really like. Don't get me wrong, there's other stuff that is very, very funny, and it doesn't need to be like that. But that's just my preference of comedy.
It's interesting because for me, number one, you've got to be funny, but if you're endearing or warm or original as well, then that's very, very interesting. And I think you've got a lot of those qualities.
Oh, thank you. No, I do think what I do get told a lot is I do have that kind of like people do instantly listen to me,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that doesn't
Sort of
happen
like
with a lot of
drawn
people.
in. They want to,
Yeah.
they want to know more. Yeah, yeah,
I think I get away. I don't know if it's the accent. I don't know if it's because I'm big. I don't know exactly why it is, but I get away with telling longer stories than most
yeah,
comedians at my level. So I
yeah,
can
yeah.
tell a longer story, and they will wait for the punchline, and people will be dead silent, like focused, listening to me. Whereas I see other comedians that are just as good as me, but they don't get away with that longer story. I'm
Interesting.
yet to figure out why,
I
but
was gonna say, why do you think that?
I'm yet to. I think it could be something to do with the accent because
Yeah,
they don't exactly because it's maybe trustworthy, maybe or maybe they like someone said to me recently that you just come across as funny instantly,
well,
and
they're right.
I think they just trust it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think they just trust it immediately, which
yeah.
is a big bonus for me.
I can following on from uh, what you've just been saying. I can't imagine you ever really having a bad gig.
Oh, I've had them. I'm
So,
glad.
could you
I
give
wish
me
you
an
could say.
example of, should we say, a difficult gig and a best gig for you?
So the most disappointed I've been recently was the semi-final of the new competition,
Right?
and it wasn't as bad as I was making out, but in my mind I felt terrible
Wow.
because I'm proud of it in a way as well though because I'm like 2 minutes into the 6 minute set or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I realize I've started telling a joke that has a callback in it that I haven't told the original joke.
Oh dear.
Um, but what I do is mid joke, and I'm thinking about this while I'm telling the joke, and that's probably like and this is why I'm kind of proud of it because it's a skill that now I've developed that I can kind of think about other jokes
Yeah.
while I'm telling a joke, and while I'm telling a joke on stage, I'm not focused on that one joke, if that makes sense. So I can tell in my mind, I'm thinking, in my mind, I was going, oh shit, you need to find another punchline for this joke right now. um, but no, I added a callback in the joke that wasn't as good as the original, but
Yeah.
it's still got a laugh.
Yeah.
But then I made the fatal mistake of telling the original joke, and then the set just felt really clunky,
Oh
and
no.
I'd given up like by minute three.
Oh.
I was telling, and it didn't go as bad, but in my mind it was awful. We've all had gigs where you go in and they just don't kind of get you. I've
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
that. I've had that. You know, when I was first starting out, it was like we're trying new stuff or trying things that may not align, and you're so tempted in those moments to go back to tried and tested. But
Yeah.
that doesn't get you better.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that really doesn't get a bit you better. You need to try new things. You need to put yourself out on a ledge and sometimes and like, right, this could go one or either ways, and then the next joke could be the same, and then you have 4 or 5 jokes in a row that just absolutely get nothing, and and then you just like, it's one of those nights, but those can't be helped.
And
Um,
what about your best gig? Was the
uh,
one where you thought, I can do this and I can do this well?
I obviously the winning the award
Yeah.
that day. I think everything went really really well that day, really
Yeah.
really well. And funny enough, it was actually my mother had just passed away
Right.
as well, right just before that the Hastings final. Well, about 5 weeks before then.
Oh dear, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, that's all right. It's 5 weeks before then, and it was kind of like my third gig in like about 2.5 months because she was unwell before that. So it was like, hadn't been like out. I'd been away from it for a little while before I'd done that. And to knowing that I'd been that and hadn't really done much before then, and then I could go back into it like that. That kind of made me realize, okay, you can do this.
Yeah.
You can do this, and which is really, really good.
It's confidence to get them to do it.
Yeah.
It's given me an enormous amount of confidence sitting in a front row. I always used to sit at the back thinking my laugh would carry, but now I'm like part of the routines with them all. It's just wonderful.
Because your laugh's amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And talking about sadly relatives passing, the story of my dad passing. I was the last person to see my dad, and I got the train from London to Carlisle and ran into the hospital, and son, he had his hand out, and I was expecting him to say, "It's great to see you," and he said to me, "Tell me the joke." And the joke was told by Barry Cryer, who's been on here. I was the last person to probably interview him. He was amazing.
Oh wow!
And it was a big coup. It was early on, and lovely man. And I told Dad the joke, and then he died in the evening. And when he died in the April, and I met Barry Cryer at the Fringe in the August. I never got a photograph with him. I'm still gutted about that. But what a lovely man! And he shook my hand, and he said, "I'm so sorry for your dad's passing, but I'm so pleased my jokes travel."
Yeah.
And it was still a gag, There's always
that's an amazing joke.
It's so good.
Such a good joke.
With my mum, a similar thing. My mum was dying, and my brother was with me, and he said, "You've been fantastic." He said, "Go to the comedy club in Carlisle." And I went, and top of the bill was the Noise Next Door, who I love.
Okay, yeah,
so
good.
And I'm sitting there with my pint of beer in the back. I'm sitting in the back in the dark, feeling very low and everything. And they bound on, and one of them says, "Right, we're going to do a song about Carlisle. Can anybody tell me anything good about Carlisle?" And somebody harped up Carlisle United. So we'll have that. Yeah. Can anybody tell me anything bad about Carlisle United? Some bastard yelled out, "Richard Gill."
Oh no!
And they went, "Oh my God, is he here?" And I'm like, oh. The next thing, I'm on stage with them singing, and at the end of it, I said, "You're not going to believe how much." And that's the magic of it, I think. It's another reason why I spread joy, because what's not to love? Whatever mood you're in, it's such an uplifting experience. I can imagine it must be like that for the comedian as well on stage.
Yeah, there are days that you want to give it all up, but there are more days that thankfully those are thankfully those are few and far between.
Yeah.
I think it all comes down to, like you said, confidence and self-confidence. Like because when let's say I've for some reason I don't have a gig this week. Maybe I'm busy a couple of days. I didn't manage to get anything like that. I feel less confident than the week before where I was doing gigs.
Wow!
Straight away. There is a little bit of a.
That's amazing. Yeah. It's like if I miss a week of this, not putting the blogs on or putting a podcast, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm getting behind here, and you're like, and then you have to organise yourself and everything. It's fascinating once you're in it, because I look at it not as a business. It's a passion.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And that's why I'll do it till I drop. As long as I can move about and get to gigs, I'll be fine. What I wanted to ask you, following on from winning the competition, what is your view of comedy competitions? Do you think they're a good thing for a comedian? Do they help promote?
I wish they were better run. A lot of them.
Right.
I do think a lot of times there's maybe they should be more independently voted. I think, like, by people that are from the industry, or maybe that don't not from the area, that don't know the acts, etc., etc. I think a lot of times what you find is that audience participation also kind of like it is can be hit and miss a lot of times with them, because I've been to competitions where someone's bought 15 family members and they've gone through, and it's and not that they might not be worthy of it, or they would be, but it makes a massive difference in that kind of regard. But there are other ones that are great, and they will promote you, and they're good stuff, and they're good for that. And it's good to go on a comedy CV and stuff like that. I don't think they are a golden ticket, and they shouldn't be. I think they're good for, because I think healthy competition is good.
Yeah.
Within community, there are people that I started out with, and even though we're great mates, we're great things, I think there is an air of, not, I wouldn't say rivalry or competition, but we all want to do well. We all want to do well together.
Yes,
and I think,
of course, yeah.
And I think that you do that by gigging better, doing these things, and getting as far ahead as you can, and they are good for that.
Yeah. We mentioned before about confidence, which I think plays a massive role in the art. Do you ever get nervous before you go on stage? And if so, how do you cope with the nerves?
Thankfully, I get nervous like 30 seconds before I'm about to go on. Before that,
Wow.
Before that, I'm usually good.
Yeah.
I'm usually thinking about stuff. Okay, I'll say this, that. Yeah. I kind of like I'm writing down. I want to do this kind of like where I want the gig to go, what I want to say, and I have that kind of like planned out in my head. Unless they want my best 10 or 15 or whatever, which I know off by heart.
Yeah.
Which I will think about it, but less so. But then like 30 seconds before I'm about to go on, it's a big boom, 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 boom. Heart, like my heart goes with that. As soon as I get on stage, and I've always got this thing where before I start comedy, I always thought, well, what if words don't come out? So no matter what I do, when I get up on stage, I always say, how are we? Are we well?
Yeah. Before you do anything.
Before I do anything, I just shout out, "Are we well, guys?" or something like that.
Yeah.
And then because it's the first words. That way, I know at least my words are coming out, and I can start. So,
would you say that when you get your first laugh, or when you speak into a microphone, any nerves that you may have go?
I think it depends on the gig.
Yeah.
If it's a gig that I really want to do well at, I sometimes can feel myself being, I'm rushing here, and I don't need to be rushing. And that's nerves. If it's a gig where I'm used to being, or it's the gig I MC in Brighton, or something like that, it's very much a comfort zone almost now. Where it's okay, I know I can do this here. I know I'm good here. I've got no kind of worries. Where if it's a gig where, okay, there's potential for progression, or it's paid, then there is a bit more pressure, because you want to do well. Of course, you want to do well. Nobody wants to not do well at these gigs, and so I will be a bit more wary. But I'm learning now. I'm still not perfect. I'm learning now to like, okay, especially now that I'm starting to do like 20-minute sets and things like that, where you shouldn't rush, because there's time. There's time for you to take time to have those gaps for them to get to know you, and you can explain a bit more. And so there's more depth to everything you're doing. Sometimes that's the thing, when you've only got 5 minutes, sometimes you do need to rush a bit to get for people to get to know what you're saying and stuff like that. But for example, I have a brother with autism, and I've got material on that, but you probably haven't heard, because in the 7-minute sets we had, I can't remember, I think there were 7-minute sets at Hastings, there's not enough time for me to explain my brother and tell jokes.
Sure, yeah.
So I need to explain my brother with humor. I explain with humor kind of what he's like on day-to-day life and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
now here are the jokes about how he goes through life
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
There's not enough time in that short amount of time
Yeah.
to me explain who he is, for you to have sympathy for it or to be empathetic about it, and for you to feel comfortable enough that I'm not taking the piss out of him, that we're laughing with him, or that kind of thing. So it's a lot more. There's a lot more to it a lot of times with those kind of things. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't rush that. I find.
So you're in effect building up a story and a background before.
Well, yeah, because nobody wants to feel like they laugh at a
Yeah. Of course.
at a
Yeah.
person
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
autism and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
All of my jokes about him, he's the winner.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He's the winner of the jokes. I'm the patsy. I'm the fool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so as soon as people realize that it's coming from a
Right
place of
away.
love,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and they find out, but you have to take time to build that character.
Yeah. 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 How do you remember all your routines?
I struggle. I struggle with it.
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't show.
Yeah. It's just repetition.
Just keep doing them.
Sadly, it's just repetition over and over and over and over again.
Do you have pointers in your head if you miss bits out?
I have keywords that
Yeah.
usually. So when before a gig, if I write a set, I'm not writing the whole set. I'm writing the keywords about that set or something that
Yeah.
reminds me of it. So like I have a whole 2-3 minute bit that I call Spirish,
Right.
which is Spanish Irish. So
Yeah.
just Spirish stuff. And stuff about like, because I open a gig with Henry VIII. It's just Henry VIII or that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
keyword.
Yeah, I remembered that.
Yeah.
That's a great opening line.
I actually have a new callback to it, which I really like, which is good, which hopefully you'll hear soon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I once had to do the brief was to stand up and present, talk about anything for 5 minutes, and so I delivered the only card trick that I'd ever learned.
Oh,
I
okay.
hadn't done it for so long that when I stood up, I forgot it.
Oh no.
And the audience were like, just looking at me all blankly.
Yeah.
I would suggest that the audience you can use to your advantage if anything like that happens, and you should miss bits, or you can always
Yeah.
re-trigger yourself. Is that correct? Do you use them as a
Sometimes I use the audience as there are a couple of bits that I have where it doesn't matter what they answer, I kind of have a
line for either?
line for either.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah, yeah.
where it seems very spontaneous, but it's not that spontaneous.
Brilliant.
Which I think is the genius kind of part about it. You know, it's
Yeah.
that feeling of oh, he's just come up with that, or he's just thought of that right now. I think it's essential in comedy. If a comedian can make you feel that he's just talking about that now and it hasn't been the same,
Yeah.
he hasn't told that story
Yeah.
1,000 times.
Yeah.
If he can do that, they're good comedians.
Yeah. It's and that's interesting because that's what I look for. I have a very good friend who comes along to a lot of the comedy with me, and he'll lean over and he'll go, I've heard this, and I would say, well, it doesn't matter. It's all about the delivery. If you haven't,
Yeah.
and it's doing it as though it's the first time. You're very true in saying that. Yeah.
If you can make them almost forget they're at a comedy show.
Yeah.
That this isn't rehearsed. That this is
Yeah.
this is they tend to forget their comedy show because they don't laugh. But for me, but
Hal Cruttenden, I had a beer with him at the Fringe last year, and he said, we all love you, he said, because when we walk out, we never know whether we're going to get laughs or not, and to see you enjoying yourself so much, it really lifts us.
Yeah.
And it's I think it works both ways. I think that if as you say, if it's like your first time, you're delivering it for your first time, it makes it so much more, I would guess, spontaneous. Is that?
Yeah, it's the feeling. Audio. I think all comedians and all performers, all arts, kind of thrive off audience
Yeah,
and atmosphere.
yeah,
It is a thing. If you can build up atmosphere and tension
yeah,
it makes the whole thing just feel better.
yeah, yeah,
It's why it's so hard. I find this. If you go into a room or if you at a venue and let's say it's raining outside, people coming in a bit miserable, they've had a long day, they sit down, they don't even take their coat off.
yeah,
It's always a bad sign.
yeah, yeah,
Always a bad sign. It means they're not comfortable. It means they're not settled yet. It means all these kind of things. Whereas I find in those moments is when you kind of like have to ham it up a lot and
yeah,
be
yeah.
very enthusiastic. Like we're going to have a great night. It's going to be good. And
You
it's
need me there every night.
well, this is the thing when someone like you is there and
Yeah,
that influences the rest of the audience. If you can get one or two people, especially at the front row,
yeah,
to laugh and to be loud, because nobody likes to see themselves laugh, or nobody likes to be seen laughing.
yeah, yeah,
As
yeah.
once that barrier is broken, it's much easier.
You're away. Yeah. There's a testimonials page on my blog, which I'm ever so grateful for. There's a load of comedians have put very nice things, and Brett Goldstein said, if you ever see Richard Gill in an audience, you're about to have your greatest ever gig, because he's the epitome of an audience member. And I find that
True.
fascinating because I'm not there to hear heckling or anything like that. We're there to hear the comedian, you know? And if they're not very good or if they're not making me laugh, I just sit in silence. I never say anything. But you know,
Yeah.
well, why is Richard laughing? He likes
it. Well, there are a lot of times. Thankfully, I think it's a mixture of both. With more and more people going to comedy, I think nowadays.
Yeah.
There people kind of know the etiquette a bit better.
Yeah.
As to not to heckle, not to do these things.
Yes,
I think,
yeah. It's certainly over the years, it has died down. Yeah.
But the problem is, it's started to creep up a little bit again now because I suppose all the YouTube and TikTok videos of people they share, we're doing crowd work and things like that. And then you get certain people that think that that's the norm. But then again, the people that watch YouTube videos and TikTok and all that aren't the people that consume live comedy either.
Right.
So you don't get it that much. But yeah, there is. I do think over the years there is less and less.
Yeah. I always remember I was at Headliners one night and Ricky Grover was on stage and there was two really not very pleasant members of the audience in the front row heckling, and he stopped the show, jumped down, threw them out, and then came back on to the theme of Rocky because he was a boxer. His performance just went through the roof.
Yeah.
It was such a good move.
That's that tension I was talking about. That's that tension I was talking about. A fascinating gig that I had once, and I'm like 3-4 months into comedy, I think, and it's in Worthing, and funny enough, Dave Benson Phillips is emceeing.
Yeah.
And I'm about to go on stage. I'm on somewhere in like mid halfway through the gig. I'm about to go on stage, or stage was by the door in this this kind of calf thing, and a fight breaks out.
Oh no!
Yeah, a fight breaks out between two audience members.
Wow!
They kind of tussle. They end up outside. As they're going outside, the police come past. We can see this through the window, and they end up tasing one of the guys.
Oh no!
It was obviously something like that. And then so the other guy comes back in. They sit down. It settles down. There's a break we have. And then all of a sudden, welcome to the stage, Dan Hardy. and there was so I'm there like, okay, how do I fix this? How do I? And I just point to the guy who was a big guy as well, and he had a beard. And I said to him, "You're just stealing all my momentum. You've just taken everything away from me. You've got my look. Now you're taking my stage, the fight, and that break of tension, that thing
Yeah,
that
yeah,
if I ignored it, it wouldn't have gone well.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think. I think people would be thinking about the fight,
Yes,
thinking
yeah,
about that. Whereas, like sometimes you have to. There are some things you do just ignore. Hecklers sometimes you can ignore. Don't bother with them. Sometimes if they're not that, if
yeah,
they're
yeah,
not that interruptive, it's best to not draw attention to it. But when it's something big like that, you kind of have to. You
yeah,
kind of have to acknowledge something, and so acknowledging it, it broke the tension, and I had a really good gig in the end.
yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah.
though, but
It's
breaking that
it's
tension.
it's similar because I can remember recently there was a gig at the Gulbenkian Theatre in Canterbury that I went to, and it was and Pauline Eyre was on, and she was doing really well. And halfway through her set, there was a fire alarm, so we all had to
No.
go. Half an hour outside, come back in. She picked up where she left off. It was fantastic. And there was another infamous one at the Edinburgh Fringe where Joe Caulfield was on stage and the lights went out and we were sitting in the dark and she just carried on. Genius, and I think that if they, as you say, if they acknowledge what's going on, whatever it is, then the audience are with them because
Yeah,
the audience, because the audience are distracted. It's like, well, the comedian is distracted or
yeah,
mentions it. It means that something else is happening, and we'll go
yeah.
and bring it back to me. It's a fascinating side to it because it must be amazing. Obviously, when you get the laughter in a room, it's infamous when they say. I've heard so many times, oh, it's like a drug, the
Mm,
laughing, and I mean, me sitting in the audience, it's like an adrenaline rush just watching you, So you come down afterwards after it's a great night. Let's move on. So I am very lucky every year to be able to go to the Edinburgh Fringe. I go for a week and I see about 50 or 60 shows. I absolutely love it. I've branched out to more festivals the last few years. I saw you at Hastings. I've got Hastings coming up in June again, recording this in March 24. I've just come back from Leicester, had a great time there. Go to Hull, go to Brighton. What is your view of festivals, in particular Edinburgh? And have you been as a punter? Have you shared a stage with other comedians? Have you had solo shows there? That sort of thing.
I'm yet to do experience Edinburgh in any
Right,
capacity. Obviously, my first year doing comedy, I wasn't going to go, and then there were 2 years of pandemic, and
right.
then I had last year as my first full year
Yeah,
of like comedy, and now this year I've written my right still hopefully going to finish writing it by the time it comes around. So I'm doing uh 4 shows at Brighton Fringe,
right.
and I'm doing, and obviously one of the prizes for Hastings was I get to do a show there this year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm
I'll
doing
see you
one.
there. And we're going this year for the whole
Oh, brilliant!
week. So
So
yeah, I'll
great.
see you there.
So I'm there on the Thursday. So I'm
Yeah,
doing that will be fun. Festivals. I've been here. I've done obviously Hastings, and I think they're very very good. If you have a work in progress show or a something that you're building,
yeah,
because it's hard to get our shows and get people to come and things like that. It's not that easy if you're an unknown. Whereas festivals, people know, okay, there's a comedy festival, there's an arts festival, there are that. So we buy tickets, you can do that. I think they are very, very positive.
yeah,
Edinburgh, I think's a little different though.
yeah,
Edinburgh, I think and I'm going to go by experience from people that have done Edinburgh and done very well at Edinburgh, and
yeah,
then didn't really get much out of it afterwards. um, I think the lack of industry people there nowadays affects it. I think it's a great place if you're semi-successful,
Yeah.
and then you want to build a better show and do a
Yeah.
30-day run where you can do that, I think it's great. For
Yeah.
someone on my level, I don't think it would be productive.
It's
I might go there. I'll see good shows. Might have a good run, and
yeah.
it'll be good to get like, let's say, a 20, 30-day run
Yeah.
and hone a skill that way. But for the amount of cost and the amount of exposure that you get nowadays compared
Yeah.
to what it was, I don't think it's worth it. And for me, at least, maybe for another couple of years.
Yeah, yeah, it's fascinating because Edinburgh is a classic example. When I first went there, one of my favourite places there is the Pleasance Courtyard, and it's basically
Yeah.
a university courtyard, loads of little spaces around the buildings where all the acts play, and you can spend the entire day there just watching and chatting to comedians, and you know, if you're a comedy nerd like I am, then you know, I'm in the element. And every year I go there seems to be a new restaurant here, a new advertising thing there, and it's like, it's not a fringe. It's not and every year it's like, well, this is becoming a promotional event, and it's being priced out of this, that, and the other. And it was very sad last year to see in the news that I think it was a band, and they won a prize. They got £10,000, and they looked meekly at the interviewer and they said, "Oh, we're so delighted we've won this money. This will go towards our accommodation in at the festival," and they can't even enjoy the prize. So it's become a promotional event rather than a fringe.
Yes.
And I think that's wrong, because it should be open to everybody.
Yeah. A
Yeah.
friend of mine who's been doing comedy about I believe 10 plus years now.
Yeah.
He done his first Edinburgh last year.
Yeah.
Sold out his I think he done 25 days
Yeah.
or something like that. Ended up losing money.
Unbelievable. I mean, that's not right, you know,
No.
because, you know, whereas the other uh, uh, fringes and festivals are just as good. We so much enjoy them, and let's hope that they don't go the same way, because I don't know why they price everything out.
Yeah,
You know,
Brighton festivals.
it's very difficult, because having said all that, the atmosphere at all of them, but especially Edinburgh, is incredible.
Oh,
If you've
yeah.
never been, you literally step off at Waverley and it goes whoosh. And
Yeah,
you
no,
literally
I imagine it.
and it's
I imagine that's
extraordinary.
great.
And that's why people still keep going back. That's why it's
You
still
could,
there.
I,
But
I
it is
imagine.
in danger, I think. Sorry.
No, so I imagine. I don't know. I'm not faulting it for that.
Yeah.
I just think, from point of view of someone at my level, or
Yeah.
where I'm at the moment, I wouldn't even consider it
No. No.
unless I got it. It was paid for by something or someone.
Yes, of
You
course.
know,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even consider it. Because for those reasons, and hearing so many people that they've done it and it went well. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they got on one of the, I think they got one of the top five
Yeah. Yeah.
jokes, I think
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
on that thing, and really
Lovely.
nothing's come of it.
No.
For them.
What's the name of your solo show that you're going to do?
Oh, it's called The Fierce Potato,
Nice.
or Dan Harding Fierce Potato.
Nice title. Well, I wish you all the best with it.
Oh, thank you,
And
thank you.
I will definitely see it either in Brighton
Yeah.
or Hastings, because, as I say, you know, you're a very, very funny.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So to date, what's been your comedy highlight? I would imagine the competition win.
The competition win, and Comedia. I got to do the Comedian Brighton. It was the Comic Boom, but that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Venue. Yeah.
Obviously Comedia is one of the top venues around.
Yeah.
Those have been like the good ones. Doing my first 20 at a paid gig was less of I suppose a highlight in the sense of like where it was. It was a really good night. It was the guys at Whole Lot of Comedy.
Yeah.
Really, really nice people. They gave it to me, and doing that and ending up thinking, okay, I can do that. It's daunting beforehand. You've done 10s, you've done 15s. Let's do a whole 20 where it's beginning
That's
to end, where
brilliant.
you've mapped it out. That was a personal highlight for
Yeah,
me,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
gone on to do more, obviously, and stuff like that. That was really cool.
Brilliant, brilliant. And do you have any ambitions? Would you like to be on TV or anything like that?
Uh, I suppose it's TV is. I suppose it used to be the goal of comedy, wasn't it? Nowadays, there isn't a lot of comedy on TV.
No.
I think that's one of the problems with the Edinburgh Fringe. I think that was because it was based around, okay, you do Edinburgh Fringe, then you do some comedy, then maybe you get a
Yeah.
spot at Live at the Apollo, then you get that and thing like that. Now I believe that it feels like comedy lives online.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with that. Yeah,
I feel if that's how it feels like. It feels like that's where it all is, and that's gonna. I think the idea nowadays is, yes, TV stuff would be great. Maybe writing something would be really cool and all that. But I think the goal nowadays is to build your audience if you can online,
yeah, yeah,
and they come and see you rather than you having to launch out this whole thing.
yeah, yeah.
That's what seems to how it works nowadays. It's
An
more of
exa
you.
an
It,
example for me, I was just going to say, an example for me is Harry Hill, because he was one of the first acts I saw in London 30 odd years ago at the King's Head, and he still has the best opening line I've ever heard to a gig. Which he stood up on the stage and he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really sorry I'm late. I had to have a testicle brought down." There was a pause and a laugh, and then he said, "From Derby." And when I met him 30 odd years later, he said, "I still tell that to this day." But the magic thing about him was he's done TV, and now he still loves to perform because he's back in the tiny clubs. And it's just this, it's again going back to this performance thing. And you're right about building up an audience to come and see you, and
yeah.
yeah, it's how do you go about doing that? It's fascinating.
Uh,
Have you done many online gigs as
oh,
well?
I done one in the pandemic, and I truly didn't like it. I
No.
found it. I found it. There is a place for it, but I don't think it's stand up.
Mm.
I think it would be funnier, almost like sketch comedy.
Yeah,
If because a sketch comedy doesn't need that affirmation straight away.
sure.
I think there's a place for it, but I believe it's more sketch comedy, maybe musical comedy. I think that kind of works better as an online presence,
Yeah,
in a way. And if I watch videos of it's like, yourself, you watch stand up all the time, and you probably caught a few specials as well on Netflix and all that.
yeah, yeah.
They're funny, but it doesn't give you the same feeling, does it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
On
it's it's going back to this. I mean, during the pandemic, I would be sitting here, and this would be like the front row, and it was fine. It was really good for the comedians who could do it well. Blah blah blah. They could keep it going, and it has its advantages and all the rest of it. However, thank God that the comedy clubs reopened,
mm,
and because live, you're in the moment. That's the other magic thing. You never know what's going to happen, and I
exactly.
love that. I love to go out on a weekend or whenever I go with a load of friends, and then just sit there and go, right, entertain me.
Yeah.
And last night we went to Headliners, and we saw topping the bill Alan Davis, who I'd seen many many times years ago, and I'd never met him. And they got I finally met him, and he was the nicest man. He said, "Your laugh is extraordinary." He said, "I'm so very sorry." And but I mean, he nearly got a standing ovation. It
Oh, I imagine
was amazing. It was amazing.
he's so good, so good.
And he could pause it, and then he got ranty, and it was so good. And
He
and
also he also has a great voice.
yeah, yeah,
He's one of these people that you can, I would call it like Billy Connolly used to do,
yeah,
where
yeah,
where he could just talk and talk and talk, and you can, and so
It's
easy to
again
listen to.
dragging you, not dragging the audience, but getting the audience in. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
just so good at that. Like, yeah, that he's got that kind of voice, and that's really, really good.
So good. Uh, who are your favourite comedians, past and present? Did you have
Oh,
comedy growing up?
yeah, I I was obsessed with comedy, and it makes sense that I'm doing this now because I did watch a lot of comedy when I was a kid. I used to get DVDs of and even videotapes of other comedians, and I remember watching Eddie Murphy's Raw and Delirious, and even Dylan Moran.
Oh, superb.
Dylan Moran was the big one. He has that thing I mentioned earlier of he will make you feel like everything he's saying is just coming off the top of his
Yeah,
head
yeah, yeah,
right now. And
yeah.
there was this one thing, and I realized this when I started comedy. I went back and watched a few of his things, and there was this one kind of like nod that I never realized before, but from doing comedy, you kind of realize, oh, I get that now. I get that much more than you think. Because there's I can't remember what special it's called, but he does his hour and he has a break and then he comes back on stage and then he does 3 4 minutes of jokes and then all of a sudden he goes, oh, there's cake at the front of the stage. Someone's left cake, and he goes, grabs the cake, puts it on his little table, and he's like, ha ha ha, puts it on the table, and then pulls out a fork from his jacket. And that is so meta in a way where I think on the surface you don't realize it, but the amazing part about that, he's kind of winking at you, telling you this is set up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I knew this is going to happen. Like everything else that's happening tonight, this is set up. This is where we're going. I knew there was going to be cake. I was prepared for it. Everything in a way that it's such a deeper level of meaning. Maybe he didn't mean it like that. Maybe just like this will be funny. But but also it could. I see it as that way of like it's a little wink nod to everyone saying, you think this is all just maybe a weird flow of consciousness. It's not. This is very well prepared.
He's so good at deceiving an audience into thinking that, isn't he? The comedians that can do that are magical to watch.
Yeah, he's so good, so good. Absolutely.
Who else then?
I really liked growing up. Obviously, Billy Connolly. I just watched him all the time. Nowadays, I really like John Mulaney.
Oh, he's brilliant. Brilliant. The infamous sketch about the cat is genius. His cat is just fantastic. Yeah. He was on the first bill I ever saw at the Comedy Store in London.
Wow. That was
him and Linda Smith, God bless her, and Richard Morton and Phil Jupitus, and top of the
great lineup
was Charles Fleischer, who was this American voiceover nutcase who was never heard of again because he went to voice Roger Rabbit.
Oh, okay.
That was it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm so pleased I saw him because he was supposed to be quite big in America, but he'd come over, and that was the first bill. And Maloney was fantastic.
Yeah,
it's just the delivery is priceless.
It's so good, so good.
Really tired.
It's strange, like nowadays, because I grew up loving British Irish comedy.
Yeah.
And I thought that they were like at the forefront of comedy in the when it comes to like I suppose English speaking languages comedy.
Yeah.
And they were just edgy and great and stuff like that. Sadly, I think nowadays they're getting surpassed a little bit by Americans in a way of being pushing the boundaries a bit. I think because they have more of a comfort of, like I said, they've built their audience and they're not going to lose their audience.
Yeah.
And they can do that. And it's an interesting balance, I think. Don't get me wrong. Comedy's still very healthy, very good here, and it's great.
Yeah.
It's so good. But I think like when pushing boundary wise, I think British and Irish comedy used to do that better. Now it feels like they're kind of going a bit behind. A little bit because of it. But
I was very lucky to be able to see Bill Hicks
oh well,
in
wow,
Manchester in about 1990, and he came on at midnight, and everybody was exhausted and tired and everything. And I've never seen a comedian hold an audience so well. For
wow.
90 minutes, he was just extraordinary. And you were just like, oh my God, can he get away and say, yes, he can. What's he going to do next? Oh my God, it was all this.
I mean, he only came over to England, to the UK once, right?
Yeah, I think it was
Mm.
It's Just a Ride tour,
Yeah, yeah.
and he did that, and that's what we saw.
Wow.
And he did. I think he did two shows, and the first one was sold out. But he was extraordinary to see live, and that's what I like. I like a bit of danger.
Mm.
Because you never know. I like left field, coming in and what's going on here and all that. It's great. Following on from that, do you go to a lot of gigs as a member of the audience?
Uh, Less than I'd like to. I try
Right.
and get to as much as I can, and if there's someone in Brighton that I really like, obviously Tommy Tiernan I saw recently,
Yeah,
so
he's
good,
so good.
so good.
I mean, talk about rambling. He could just.
He's
He's another one where it takes a word and he just runs with it.
a
Ross
mile.
Morgan's
It's
very
a
good.
mile a minute. You have to
Yeah,
be. You end up at the end of the gig exhausted from
yeah,
just watching him.
yeah, yeah,
It's so good. Like that kind of stuff. I will try and make as much time as I can and get to see them and things like that. And even like shows, especially with the Fringe coming up. I've
yeah.
got a list of shows that I want to see.
Yeah. Well, of course, in Brighton, you go
Yeah,
every day. It's great. Yeah,
list of shows that I want to see that I'm looking forward to. In Hastings as well,
yeah.
they've got a bunch of people that I want to see.
They're a
That's
really strong lineup this year,
very strong.
and Brighton, I will endeavour to go at least. I think twice. We're going to go weekends, so
Nice.
we've got a few good things lined up. So
Yeah,
that'll be good.
so I try and get as much as I can, nowhere near as much as I'd like to.
Yeah, if you're on a bill of acts and you were on first, would you stay and watch the rest of the bill?
Depends on
Where it is.
I
Yeah,
where it is. If
yeah,
I need to get home, I live in Brighton. If I need to get home and it's going to take me 2 hours to get home,
yeah,
I'll tend to leave. I probably leave. It depends if I'm on first and I'm doing. If there's someone on straight after me, let's say I'm doing 10 and someone else is doing 10, and then there's a break, I might watch that 10 and then leaving the break.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just because otherwise you're getting home at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes
Yeah.
if it's later.
And you said you were comparing a regular comedy club. What's the name of it?
Yeah, it's called Kool-Aid Comedy. So it's a new act, new material night. In Brighton, it used to be what used to be Type Five in
Right.
Brighton. So it's the longest running open mic comedy night in Brighton.
That's what day of the
It's
week?
on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
It's at the Carolina Brunswick. It's a lot of fun.
It's a great pub, great venue.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
venue. Yeah, me and my friend Jimmy Ennis and Jack Blakeman, also comedians, very very good.
Yeah.
We all started so we all done the same charity gig. That's how we started. So we started out all together.
Brilliant.
And so we run that night, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun
That's
getting to
great.
interact with people and stuff like that. And it's got me MC gigs elsewhere as well,
Yeah,
which is a
yeah.
lot of fun. Which I do like that. That's the spontaneous, what anything can happen thing. That is very very cool. I do like doing that a lot. It's a lot
Good
of
on
fun.
you. Good on you. I've so much enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah, pleasure.
It's been an absolute joy having you as my guest. Just before we go, is there anything else you'd like to say where people can find you on social media?
Yeah, if you
YouTubers,
look at
anything like
it's Dan Harding on Facebook. Sorry, Daniel Harding on Facebook. It's Dan Harding _ comedy on Instagram. I've got my show Fierce Potato coming up. It'll be hopefully at the Brighton Fringe. I'm guessing this won't come out before then, but I'm hoping to take it to other festivals throughout the year
Brilliant.
if it goes well. So
Yeah.
that should be fun. Yeah, please look me up, and I look forward to seeing you at
Definitely.
Hastings.
Definitely, I will be there in I'll try and get to Brighton and see you, but I will definitely see you at
If
Hastings.
not, yeah,
And
that'd be great.
I wish you so much success with it. It sounds hilarious.
Oh,
Well,
good.
and
Thank you
all the
very
very
much.
best to you.
Thanks, Richard. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, my friend. Thanks
Bye.
now. Bye bye.